The Flash, when it first launched its first season back in 2014, broke records for the CW. It was just amazing. And if you're anything like me and you've been watching the show since it came out, week by week, if you've been watching it since the pilot, you know the hype that there was for this show. I don't like that word, hype. Why did I say that word? Can we do that again? Hello everyone, and welcome to a review of The Flash Season 1. The Flash Season 1. Back in 2014, when this show launched, I remember watching it for the first time. When I first watched the pilot, I was skeptical. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I heard it was a spin-off of Arrow. Arrow at the time was in a rough spot. Season 3, not great. We're not going there today though. We're not going there today. We're talking about The Flash Season 1, which arguably is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. If Season 1 of The Flash was its own story and there was never a Season 2, it's a finished story. You know, apart from the whole cliffhanger at the end of the season. Now, am I the only one that's still upset about that? Because if you watched episode 23 as it premiered, you threw your TV remote at the wall. And if you didn't, you're lying, because that cliffhanger, aggravating. You don't know what it was like to have to wait months to see what happened. I almost went insane. We're not there yet. Slow down. Go back to the beginning. The pilot. Now, at first, this show, I was skeptical. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but after the pilot, I knew that this was going to be a show I would enjoy. And I was extremely excited for the next few episodes. They had a great cast involved. They had Grant Gustin, who was very good. Like, I know that some people like to say that he's not that great, but in my opinion, he is very good at playing Barry Allen, and he's the best Barry Allen we've ever had. He doesn't have much of a competition. Tom Cavanaugh, literally, I would watch a show that was just Tom Cavanaugh sitting in a room talking to another person played by Tom Cavanaugh. Like, it's amazing. He is so great. And you can tell later in the show that they knew that he was so great that he could carry the show. And at some points in the later seasons, he did carry the show. Okay, but in this first season, Tom Cavanaugh, he portrayed Welzabard just amazingly. It was just perfect. There wasn't a better way. And speaking of Welzabard, the villain? Okay, we're going to get there in a minute, because we're still talking about the cast. I'm getting ahead of myself, because The Flash Season 1 is stinking amazing. It's so good. Okay, now we have, Jesse L. Martin, who is great. Anytime there was an emotional moment with Jesse L. Martin, you felt it. Anytime he was hurting, you were hurting. Candace Patton, she wasn't even bad in Season 1. I know that some people like to say, oh, Candace Patton's been bad since the beginning of the show. No, in Season 1, Candace Patton actually gave a pretty good portrayal, She was a decent character who was just a reporter. And I liked that. I liked seeing her just be a reporter, because that's who her character is supposed to be. A reporter. She isn't supposed to be the leader of Team Flash, Season 4. Get it right. Season 4. We're not talking about Season 4 today. We're talking about Season 1. Moving on from the cast, not only did they have a great main cast with, they had Carlos Valdez, Danielle Panabaker. They had all these people involved that were just so great in the first season. And then we have great guest spots like Victor Garber, who played Martin Stein. And he later showed up in Season 2 and later became one of the stars of Legends of Tomorrow. So, obviously he was pretty good. They just had so many great guest spots, and week after week, they would bring back the greatest episodes. There's not a single episode in The Flash Season 1 that I look back on and just think, that was a bad episode. There's not a single bad episode. because every single episode is important in some way to the story, and that's what makes the season 1 so much better than the other seasons. The filler episodes aren't really there. The episodes that feel like filler episodes, they still have, like, Harrison doing something, or Reverse Flash showing up, or something like that. There's no filler episodes. They're all pretty good. Like, at least in some way, it's all pretty good. And I think it's amazing. In my opinion, The Flash Season 1, that's when Team Flash is at its best. It was kind of strange, actually, to go back to Flash Season 1, to see the old team dynamics, to see all that again. It was just kind of strange, and it felt weird, because I miss the old team dynamics. I miss, just Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, and Wells. Well, Wells a Bard at that time, or even in Season 2 with Harry. That's when Team Flash is at its best. Nowadays, in the later seasons, the Star Labs crew, it's way too full, and there's way too many people, and they don't really know what they're doing, and it was too much, and there was too many people. Back then, it was simpler. Everybody was doing something, and it was great. Week after week, not only were they bringing great episodes, but they were pulling villains off the page, and great villains with great actors portraying them. Come on, Leonard Snart's Captain Cold is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Gorilla Grodd was in the first season. Gorilla Grodd was in the first season. Can we mention that? Gorilla Grodd was in the first season. That's actually amazing. Okay? And not only Gorilla Grodd, but we had Weather Wizard, who admittedly isn't the best of the original, rogues, but he's still pretty good. I'd actually argue that maybe he's one of the worst, but he's fine. He's fine, I guess. He's fine, But then there is the big bad, the main villain. Nobody, I don't think anybody before the show came out was in a million years was thinking Reverse Flash would be the main villain for the first season. First season, I didn't see it coming. I personally did not see it coming. Just the moment we first get to see the Reverse Flash in, I believe, episode 9, the mid-season finale, with one of the most memorable scenes in all of the Flash history, with Barry and the Reverse Flash facing off at the stadium. It looks amazing visually, and it's great for the story. That's what Season 1 does better than the rest of the show. They have great visuals and great character moments and great things for the story. It's just all there, and it's so good. It is so good. I cannot even explain how good it is right now, because it is so good. So good. Then, there are the episodes in general. There are great episodes in this first season. Because we talk about episode 15, anyone? Does anyone remember episode 15? Just roll that trailer. Roll that trailer right now.
I've grown quite fond of you. In many ways, you have shown me what it's like to have a son.
I can't believe this. Dr. Wells had something to do with Barry's mom's murder.
He's in a wheelchair? How could he possibly have done that?
You're smart. But you're not that smart.
The Flash returns with an all-new episode Tuesday, March 17th on the CW.
You mean to tell me that you were not hyped after that trailer? Come on. Cisco finding out the identity of Welzabard. It was just amazing. Barry time traveling and rewriting the timeline. A tsunami coming towards Central City. It all comes together in a great way. It's just amazing. I love that episode. In some people's mind, and arguably so, it is one of the best, if not the best episode of The Flash. It is extremely good. And, looking back, seeing characters like Eddie, it was kind of strange to see Eddie again. I remember upon my first, watch through of the show back when Season 1 was airing, I wasn't a big fan of Eddie. He, in my opinion, and he still is, but upon more rewatches, he's better, in my opinion, but he's quite clearly there just so that there's a little bit of tension between Barry and Iris, and you can see the CW meddling in, just like how in Arrow Season 1, there's a lot of shirtless Stephen Amell, because it's the CW. Luckily, The Flash didn't have too much of that, but in The Flash Season 1, there was still the Linda Park thing, and the Linda Park thing was completely pointless. It was literally just there to fill in the CW criteria. Like, it's obvious that that's what it was, but I don't even care. It was still good. They still got it to work somehow. They still somehow got it to work amazingly, may I add. It looks so good. The whole show just looks so good. The whole first season. Any moment between Barry and his father is very emotional and very great. You know, there are great scenes. They even brought back Mark Hamill to play the Trickster. Mark Hamill plays the Trickster in The Flash Season 1, and it was amazing. It was great. You know, and then, just like in everything else, you know, if everything else wasn't enough, there is just so much writing for the show. And that leads up to the finale. Fast Enough. One of the best episodes of The Flash. Barry, Grant Gustin, and Tom Cavanaugh, any scene they share in this episode is just amazing. It is tense. It is emotional. These actors are at their best in this episode, and it is absolutely perfect. I loved every single second of it. And then Barry goes back in time. And he meets his mother. In the most emotional scene, probably on The Flash. Like, just thinking about this scene, it is a very emotional and heavy scene. Barry is beckoned by future Barry to not save his mother. And he gets to say goodbye to his mom as she's dying one last time. And oh boy, is that scene emotional. That scene will get you to tear up. And if it doesn't, you're a monster. You are a monster. Barry comes back. Him and the Reverse Flash have one final battle. And Eddie saves the day. Eddie shoots himself to save the day. And that scene it made Eddie's character worth it to me. That sacrifice of that character. I've seen people say, oh, that was just pointless. That was just, Eddie was just there to die so that Barry and Iris could get together. It was just there. It was just for no reason. But no, in my opinion, from the beginning, they had that scene planned out. And that scene was amazing. I loved that scene. And all of the actors played it great. Jesse L. Martin, Candace Patton, Tom Cavanaugh. They all just play the scene amazingly. And then at the end of the episode, we get a little hint at Matt Letcher's Reverse Flash. Arguably a better Reverse Flash. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. Don't yell at me in the comments. But then Barry runs into time, runs into the black hole, and the season ends. Cut to black. Credits roll. We have to wait forever before season 2. I just remember how upset I was. I was like, oh, why can't season 2 be here yet? It was just amazing. The Flash season 1 on its own is a full story. Every character's arc is fulfilled. There's not a single character where you're like, well, they should have done this, or they didn't do that. And it was just amazing, And in my opinion, yes, if they didn't get a season 2, people have been like, oh, I wanted a season 2, I want to see these characters again. But it would have been a completed story. It would have been a completed story. We would have seen Barry train. We would have seen Team Flash get betrayed by Welzabard. And then we would have seen Wells get erased from the timeline. The people behind the show, behind this first season, it was perfect. It was amazing. And I owe a part of my childhood Yeah, I'd say so to this show. I've been watching for the last 6, almost 7 years now. And there is not a show I would have rather spent the last 6 years watching. Even through the ups and the downs, this show, I've made friends because of this show. I've had conversations with people I would have never talked to otherwise because of this show. And I'm thankful for it. This show was a big part of my life. Even in the worst seasons, like season 4 and 5, I still watched because I had hope that we would get season 6 one day. And season 6 was a return to season 1, in my opinion. The Flash was at its best in season 1, and I feel like season 7 might be a chance to get back to that. I don't know if I'm right, I don't know if I'm wrong, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Tell me if you guys want to see more videos like this, more reviews. Should I review The Flash Season 2? Tell me in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye now.